I was thinking this morning about the idea of the yoga of the householder, magic in the mundane, hermit's kind of perspective as an earth sign and a highly spiritual sign. And I think, you know, if we only relied on those peak experiences of epiphany and complete wonder at the majesty of it all, those are really important, and they happen infrequently. If we can discover the magic in the mundane as, I've forgotten the name, Birth of Venus Tarot, and the whole idea of the yoga of the householder, that your practice, your spiritual practice, and your daily chop wood, carry water element are melded. Strength card. For me, a card of synthesis of these two fairly distinct things being woven into one. The mundane, the magical. The yoga, the householder. Yoga, I believe, just means practice. It's a practice. You do it repeatedly, and something in the repetition, the mantra or whatever, saying the same phrase or focusing on the breath, which is repetitive. There's something about that that gets you into the moment by moment. And if we can surf that energy, I don't know who said this. I want to levitate, to sing with rapture, to dance like a dervish. That's sort of magic in the mundane. You know, levitate, granted, but to dance like a dervish, that's that spinning, you know, dancing in the pattern of the planet's movements. The whirling dervish. Ooh, 7 of Wands, had that the other day. Bending the bars. Having the strength and courage to leave something that's familiar but limiting. Suddenly acquiring enough power and pride and fire energy to face real life. Life outside the cage. Life outside the box. Life outside the construct. Some construct that weakens. There's something about this guy's, he's like a circus performer with the mustache. Emperor. All fire energy. Emperor Aries. Strength Leo. And there are 2 Emperor cards in this deck, and one of them shows the kind of dictatorial emperor, the big boss, pulling all these strings, puppeting the entire town, the entire family, the entire village, you know, everybody who works for this person. Something like that. They're the boss. And they want to control. In fire energy, breaking it, and it might even be the emperor themselves, because to try to maintain that kind of big, bombastic ego personality of I'm the big boss and you all do what I say is a cage in and of itself. You know, if you're all about controlling other people and trying to, you know, restrain their action, Wands energy, their creativity, their life force, their agency, but weirdly enough, you end up in the box too. it's a little bit I wouldn't say the toxic divine masculine, but certainly somebody who's controlling. Larger than life. I think it's like with a big ego. Four of Cups. Card of feeling of missed opportunity and sadness and loss and that empty feeling. And being willing to overcome it. You know, and willing in the sense of one's energy. It's not just like suddenly you're poof and you're past it. This is a real kind of a struggle. It takes strength. It takes, you know, endurance. It takes strength to pull this off, whatever it is. Okay. Chariot. Card of Cancer, emotion and feelings. And it's ordinarily the fastest major arcana card. And here it's a snail. It's a snail's pace. I think somebody's really been held back, you know, perhaps by somebody else. Somebody who was a father figure or a boss. And they're busting out of that, you know, somebody who kind of had tried to label them or put them in a box or say, this is who you are. I get to decide. I think it may be a father figure. And it's not the literal father, it's the internalized father. Like if you had a father who was a bully, in some way, then you end up punishing yourself. You know, you pick up, if they die, you pick up the scepter and you beat yourself with it. But not anymore. Like somehow you've now grown in compassion for yourself. And maybe with this other person as well. And again, the roles could be in reverse. Emperor is a card of divine masculine. Judgment under Emperor. This is breathing new life into something. You know, it's a second chance. It's forgiveness, redemption, the new life. And to me, there's an implication of, well, let's see. I was going to say of the tower, because there were all these buildings behind. But there are buildings behind the emperor, too. Something that had become a cage. It was once just a sturdy structure, and but we have 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana here out of 6. So this is some evolution in the psyche. Outside the box. And on the board, the snail is riding toward this 4 of Cups person. Like some kind of feeling of dejection or something like that. And slowly, slowly, it's creeping up on this person. A feeling that feelings are beginning to flow and like slipstream them forward. Creeping up behind them. Catching them off guard, something like that. On Chariot, 9 of Wands. This card has turned up in the last, I don't know how many readings, the Wounded Warrior. And it's, you know, in daily life, the mundane, there's so much of this. it feels so hard. A lot of the time, it just feels so challenging. As if every move we make is potentially hurtful. You're going to get hurt, or hurt somebody else. But it's also kind of the dance with a limp card. We've all been hurt. That's one of the feelings, is feeling tired and defeated and wounded. Like you can't cherry pick the feelings. If your heart is open, you're going to feel it all. Knight of Wands on Judgment. A lot of fire energy here. You know, moving through the fire, going fast enough so that you don't get burned. In, you know, Ram Dass quote, in truth, you are the fire. Like fire doesn't burn itself, and in truth, you're the fire. Knight of Wands. Extremely fast-moving energy. I mean, not Chariot the snail. This is like the runaway pony. And moreover, the rider is riding side saddle. Riding and riding this fast and jumping through hoops, etc. is hard enough. Riding side saddle, so much harder. Like to have to wear a skirt and sit sideways on a horse. You know, it's like Ginger Rogers dancing with Fred Astaire, except in heels and backwards. It's like overcoming the obstacles. Seven of Wands can be very much just that, overcoming obstacles. Giving something your all. Let's see about on strength. We have 10 of Wands. All the minor arcana are Wands energies. Fire energies, fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sag. We have Aries and Leo on the board. This is a kind of gather ye rosebuds as you may. That's the feel I'm getting off of this. You know, it's sort of like, there's a poem that let the apples fall around you. Tell yourself you tasted as many as you could. That's sort of like this. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're coming to the end of summer, and it's sort of like Leo energy, summer energy, light. We're about to go into daylight savings in North America, and it's a tough time. It's into the dark. Out of Leo energy into maybe even a dark night of the soul of some sort. But the Chariot is pulling somebody out of their dejection, out of their sadness, you know, into a place where they can work on healing. You know, actively, Wands energy. This is all about action. There's one, I mean, this is the Cups. So I'm not quite right that they're all Wands. Because this is a very passive card. You know, I'm just immobilized by my feelings, and I'm sad and I'm dejected, and, you know, I'm not even recognizing the help that is at hand. Okay, on Emperor, King of Pentacles. Well, King of Pentacles, here in the feminine aspect, and it really, you know, that's why gender isn't a thing in tarot. But this is the caretaker, the responsible one. Can even sometimes smack of this a little bit. because this is also a father energy. I'll take care of you. Father knows best. I'll keep you safe. And, you know, King of Pentacles, I'm the one who's grown up. You know, I'm this much bigger than everybody else. And you know, you or this person may have bought into that, bought into the role. Tell us about the Seven of Wands, please, and Emperor. Ooh la la. Bottom of the deck, lovers. Card of Gemini, an air sign, and, you know, about that kind of relationship, perhaps between two people who are dissimilar. It's a card of the twins, but they're not identical, are they? They're not even the same species. You know, there's something about the bird with the hat. It's sort of like, well, it's kind of like the yoga of the householder. You know, it's just the hat of everyday life, but it's on this winged, mystical Birdman. Okay, that's on 7 of Wands. I need more rum. I can tell this is a story. On 7 of Wands, you know, it's doing it for love, basically. The things I do for love. There was some terrible song back in the 70s about, yeah, I don't even want to begin to sing it. It'll stay in my head. And in yours, if you know it. And there is a kind of warning, don't delay. Stevie Wonder, love's in need of love today. Right away, don't delay, something about that. And it's an idea of a window closing, of the summer ending, of the last of the flowers. And in a way, it's sort of like all the accumulated sweetness, even that needs to be offloaded now in order for us to focus on something else. What are we focusing on? Well, something else, not 4 of Cups, Justice card. Another major arcana, this time of Libra, another air energy. We have Gemini and Libra on the board. Justice, it's something about things leveling up. It might even be about some relationship, lovers kind of relationship, that before somebody's their expectations for connection weren't met. It felt very unfair and uneven. Like, I feel more for you than you feel for me. Almost like keeping tabs. I'm getting the image of an abacus, you know, where you count, quickly count. And I think this has to do with Libra time, and a time when, you know, suddenly the slow growth of emotion, of connection, of love. There's an acceleration and a leveling up. And it's accelerating because some cycle is wrapped up and we've willingly participated in closing it out. And it may have been the role somebody was playing that kept them trapped. You know, whereas in real life, they're stable, they're balanced, they're present, they're giving. They're not yanking anybody's chain. If there was a power difference, power inequality between these two, now there's a, you know, if there was an unequal thing, now it's equal. Something's been synthesized, it's equal and balanced. And the question is, how does this psychic energy, these deep level archetypal stories that we tell ourselves and that our culture tells us, how does that express in 3D? 9 of Wands, 10 of Wands. You know, make the effort to heal, then reap the benefits. You know, complete the cycle, you'll reap the benefits. The benefits are balance, second chances, forgiveness. Tell me about the Emperor, because that's the one, this controlling aspect. What's going on there? That's the other Emperor card. Remember I said there are two? This is the one I much prefer. This fellow with the big mustache, and you know, he's not ruling over the little people. And the buildings in the background are right on the top of his head. It's like he doesn't rule by manipulation. He rules by actually wearing the crown, being the powerhouse, taking care of other people in this capacity. Okay. Emperor, 3 of Wands. This is an amazing amount of fire. It's almost too hot, too passionate, too action-packed. It's like an action movie. An action move, an action movie. Something about that. Emperor, 3 of Wands. The Emperor has plans. Something he's set in motion, you know, like taken action to kick something off. Again, the buildings. And now is looking to see the result of this. This guy with his long mustache, you know, they're almost like feelers. You know, the cats have whiskers in part to determine what's around them. How big can I get and still fit through? You know, the whiskers mark the parameter. What does that mean, the whiskers mark the parameter? Page of Wands, just like stunning. We have Page and Knight of Wands, and then Emperor, which is a real leap. This is a new direction, you know, determined by effort, but also by something to do with the way the wind blows, with, I think it's like accepting the teachings from the natural world. I'm sorry, Page of Swords. A card of the student. I don't know why I thought it was Wands. But this is like receiving the information, assimilating it, and then disseminating it. Having a bright idea. But Emperor, 3 of Wands, it seems very grandiose. a card of like having a lot to learn. Ace of Cups. It might be that the Emperor has a lot to learn about love. They feel like they've got something under their belt now, and they believe that they've manifested it, and they're waiting with optimism for, they expect. And there's something about, again, the growth business, the mustache and the hair. A lot of time has elapsed for this Emperor person to actually grow up. They had a lot to learn about, how to manifest things rather than dictating, from above. It's like they got down into life, into organic life, and kind of humbled themselves. They knew they had a lot to learn. Sword energy, they knew it. Sword about mental, memory, speech, understanding, the ability to make decisions, taking everything into consideration, and knowing what's fair when you see it, knowing it, sword energy, when you see it, sword energy. One more. Oh yeah, this is the Ace of Cups. It's all about the opportunity for love. It's all about accepting the opportunity for love. Opening the heart. After this, that was a rough experience. It left a mark. But back in the flow. And look at the, when you bust out of that, when this person busts out of, because I think it's Emperor, out of the role of Emperor and into this kind of role as Emperor, which is somebody who's concerned with everybody around them, really wants to caretake in that way, and had the humility to realize they had to learn how to do it, Page of Swords, because they were only used to this, and perhaps they had modeled, on somebody they respected, some father figure, maybe their literal father, a boss type energy, a bossy energy. They've broken out of that mold and have adopted this other Emperor energy that has humility and, ready to receive. Takes me a minute, but it's ready to receive, Three of Wands, that new lesson, that new access to this, access to connection. I mean, if you're all high above it and see everybody else as little, likely not to have an open heart, likely not to get the opportunity to connect because you're pulling everybody's strings. This person went through some kind of transformation where they broke out of something that had been modeled for them by some patriarch. But they've come into their own King of Pentacles. And now they're open to this kind of equality. I love you, you love me, that's what matters. This reciprocity. They're clear about it now. So they have access to a little love in their life. There's a Billie Holiday quote. You've got to have a little love in your life before you can listen to any damn body sermon on how to behave. You've got to have a little food in your belly and a little love in your life before you can listen to any damn body sermon on how to behave. I think that's what this person, the new knowledge that they got for themselves, that they learned on their own. At one point, they'd listened to somebody else's sermon on how to behave, and they've reclaimed themselves. Master of their own domain, as I think it was Seinfeld. I love you guys. New subscribers, welcome. Old subscribers, thank you. Potential subscribers, hit the button as free. Yeah, oh, and I wanted to say, looking at, occasionally I peek at the YouTube compile statistics on the channel and what's happening. And I looked at it recently, and suddenly the channel is going global. And there are people from all over. And I'm like, I've been in this sort of geocentric North American reference point. And I think we're bigger than that now. And, you know, so excuse me if I don't always give a nod to that, but in my heart, I'm really giving a nod to that. Thank you for coming to listen to me here in this place, and the recognition that we're all in this together. I find that very comforting. It's a warm feeling. So thank you for that. And I'll see you next time.